Hi, folks. Good afternoon. As good an afternoon as we can today. It is I don't know, about 5:30 on what is it? Wednesday, Thursday. So I'm kind of bummed to be doing this presentation, but I think it's probably something that I should. For those of you who aren't aware, a lot's going on with the coronavirus and things like that. And we've got some things happening in our community that kind of suck and that I'd like to kind of talk about a little bit and maybe see if there's not something we can do to help a little bit with some of it. None of this is the most important stuff in your life right now. If you have, if you're immunocompromised, if you've got SMA or other issues you're dealing with, obviously these things might seem trivial. But to the folks we're going to talk about, they're not. What I'm really talking about is we learned today that one of our biggest constituents, one of our biggest supporters, the FIRST teams that we work with, learned that their season was canceled. And that's kind of a big deal. These kids they're all in on the robotic stuff. And so I learned earlier today that the Orlando Regional was canceled, and then I learned even more recently that the entire first season and both of the championships for this year have been, I think indefinitely postponed was the word, but I think it really means canceled. I don't think this is actually something that you can postpone and pick back up again. So briefly, actually, let me do my basics here. Hi, folks. I just want to make sure if I don't type in a comment, I don't see the responses. So briefly, to kind of give what are we talking about here? The first, if you're not into FIRST Robotics, it is one of our best sources for technologists and for labor, good labor, high quality people who do toy adaptations and make custom devices for us. So FIRST is Dean Kamen's organization for robotics. They do gather in large arenas, basketball arenas, for competitions and things like that every year. And we're kind of in the peak of it right now. So our big, and they announced this afternoon that they are canceling the current first season and both of the championships events. And that sucks. Okay, there's really no way around saying that sucks. I also know that some of the kids we work with the most, and you'll see me talking about the most, so GRA-V and Roaring Riptide and Exploding Bacon, among others, are currently physically at the Orlando Regional competition. And they announced today that they are canceling theirs as well. So this is their big competition of the season. If they do well here, they would then go on to Worlds. And in our case, they are also, today is the day they would be presenting their chairman's video. This is, the kids we're talking about are the Riptide kids, so Roaring Riptide, which is right here, and GRA-V, which is the kids who just did the Freedom Wing with us, and also up in Indiana, Penn Robotics, which is our biggest out-of-state team really, is actually the host of their districts, which was this weekend, and that is canceled as well. So this all sucks. There's no way around it. Sorry, wrong button. It's like I've never done this before. But it really sucks, and there's not any real way around that. I thought I'd talk a little bit about something we might be able to do to try and salvage a little piece of this. It is a small piece, but one of the things that all of the kids do is they put together a chairman's presentation that they have to give. And it's something that they practice a ton for. They put together a video of what they've done. And the chairman's award, for those of you who aren't familiar with FIRST, is what you've done outside of the robotics arena. So it's not what you've done on the field. It's what you've done in your community. It's what you've done as outreach and things like that. And very often, the work that these teens are doing in AT forms a basis for a lot of what they talk about in their chairman's awards, presentations. So I've made videos for them. David Dichter from ATIA has made videos with them talking about what they're doing. And it's an opportunity for them to showcase what they're doing off the field. So while their field work is done, their off the field work isn't, right? Their off the field work isn't finished. There's still people in their community who need assistive technology. There's still, for people who aren't doing that, there's still STEM programs like for Exploding Bacon that need help getting women involved in STEM. So their First Like a Girl project. All the outreach needs to continue. But one of the big places to showcase is it kind of just dried up. So one of the things I'd like to do, if they're up for it, I'm not sure if they are, I'd like to invite them to present, right? Let's have these teens do their presentation, their what they would have given as their chairman's award, to this group, and share what they're doing on AT Makers, on the Facebook group, on our YouTube channel, and get it in front of the other people outside of FIRST who might benefit from knowing what they're up to and how they did. I'd like to do that to the group. I'd like to either do it as a live video where they go live or I go live and we share it, or maybe a watch party. I'd have to practice because I have not successfully done a watch party yet, but where they put together a video so they don't have the pressure of doing it live, and then we'll put it up and do commentary on the group as well. I think it'd be a small thing we could do to help recognize all the work these teens have done. In addition, I think it's important that these kids hear from us about how important the work they're doing is outside of that competition. It's easy to get caught up in whether you're going to win that competition, whether it's the Chairman's Award or the robotics competition. And I'm not trying to say for a minute that those things aren't important. They are. They are the reason that your teams exist, and they're the only reasons we can come and tap you for the work that you're able to do for us. So don't read too much into this here. But it is true that things go on outside of that don't stop because of this. So one of the things that I would hope that all the teens that we work with are thinking about after you get really upset, and correctly so. But one of the things you should think about, just talking to the teens for a second, is you should be able to answer the question, what did you do when they canceled the first season? And being able to say, well, when they finished when they canceled the first season, we went out into our community and we made sure that the people who needed AT were able to participate virtually. Or when they canceled the first season, we took the time to document everything we've been doing on the robot so that next year all those lessons can be passed on. Or however you want to word that, it's an important thing to be able to say. Because as important winning at FIRST is to your colleges that are going to look at that on your application, to your employers who look at it as the ability to work as a team and graceful professionalism and all of that, as important as the paperwork that you've done it is, you're going to need to be able to tell the story of this year. And if the story goes something like, oh, we had the best robot, we were finally going to be able to compete, we were going to win, we were going to go to Worlds, and they pulled the rug out from under us, it's not a very good story. And if the story goes, we were having this great season, and then when they pulled the rug, we went ahead and took that. And we took that great robot and we were able to teach the next generation, or we went out and we did whatever it is that you do next. It is important that you have the rest of that story that isn't, and it destroyed the rest of our year. So there are things that we can do here that AT Makers can do, that our other folks in our community can do to help get you the rest of that story. Not to steal they don't know who Paul Harvey is, but not to quote Paul Harvey. It is important that you look at the rest of your year and say, okay, we now have a lot more time. You're going to have more time because you're not going to be in the middle of build season, in the middle of competition season. And as much as that sucks, what are you going to do with the time? And if there's things that we can do in terms of helping you do things virtually or helping you set up a studio like this studio probably cost us, I don't know, $500 to set up or so. So that you can do things virtually and do them better virtually. I'll be happy to help with that. If there's people in our community who can help with this, please let us know. These kids have definitely helped out the AT users a ton. Whether it's from creating hundreds of adapted toys to creating the Freedom Wings and the joysticks and the things that go with the XAC. The entire IntelliKeys project is being run by Roaring Riptide. These kids deserve not just our respect and our thanks, but at this point, if there's something that we can do to help out, we pretty much should. So I'm going to invite the folks in the AT Makers community. If you have ideas, post them below. Tell us what we can do to help these kids, or at least to thank these kids. And I'll probably leave it at that. I'm as bummed as anybody is. Tomorrow I was going to be at the regional. They've got a luncheon for folks like me who help these teens. To Wendy, who runs the conference, I'm really sorry. I know how much work you guys put into it, and this has to be devastating. So, my heart goes out to you, and I hope you have a great year with Bacon. They're involved with that, and with the other teams involved, GRA-V. But if I can help, let me know, and I'm gonna let this one go here. Bye.